there. Again, it's me. There's a lot of stuff that has gone on lately that I want to talk about. No way I could possibly squeeze it all into one thing. So here's what we're going to do. One big thing is some people see it and then other people don't see it, and they think that some of us are being extreme, but I don't think that's the case, you know. Recently with Alex Jones, I'm sure a lot of you know who that is. I don't agree with everything that he does or says. He does go on to some kind of crazy stuff, but there are a lot of things that he said that has actually been accurate and have come true. So I don't completely dismiss him. But the bottom line with that is, does he have a right to say those things? If he believes something, does he have a right to say it? Whether you agree with it or not. You know, any of us could be deemed as hate speech, depending on who you ask. You know, a comedian, all the different things that they talk about could, you know, be taken as hate speech if certain groups or whatever wanted to stand up and make a big deal of it, you know. Maybe cops could stand up and say that there's hate speech against them because a lot of people are saying that they're racist. You know, a lot of, you know, I'm just saying, like, anybody can say, oh, these group or these people have hate speech against me, so let's shut them up. And my problem with that is that, you know, we can't do that. We, you know, our country is the only country that has freedom of speech, and we are supposed to be allowed to say anything as long as it's not threatening one's life, or somehow doing something to put people in danger, such as if you're in a crowded theater or whatever and you scream out fire or a bomb or something. You can't do that. You can be arrested for that because that's endangering lives, because you will freak people out. People will be running and screaming and trampling, and, you know, so those sorts of things are illegal to say. But aside from that, we are allowed to say anything that we want, even if it hurts someone's feelings. That's the way it's always been. You know, a person can say they don't like somebody, they can say that person's racist, hateful, ugly, stupid, whatever they want. That's just the way it is, and we as, you know, people have to learn how to suck it up, you know. So if somebody says something we don't like, big deal, move on with life, you know. People say things all the time that you don't agree with, but we say things that other people don't agree with, you know. It's just the way it is. And so it bothers me that they're shutting him down, and what bothers me even more is that all these different platforms at once are shutting them down. So where did this come from? Was it a bigger, God, my hair is awesome. Was it a bigger group? Was it this deep state or something to that effect? You know, was it somebody way up here controlling all of these situations and telling everyone to do it? I mean, how is it that all these different platforms all at once that are not owned by the same people instantaneously do this? You know, is there someone in control of that? I don't know, you know, but either way, that's concerning to me that that it's okay to shut someone down, you know, and it doesn't matter to me, like, what he's saying. Like I said, as long as he's not threatening someone's life. People say things we disagree with, we don't like, that even hurt our feelings, you know, or that make us angry or whatever, but that's just part of being an American, is being allowed to say what you want to say. And, you know, it's just that simple. You don't have to like it, and you can argue against it. You can protest that person or boycott that person or whatever as individuals, but no one should be shut down for saying things that other people don't agree with. So that's a concern for me. It's kind of like, you know, with the guns and all that, you know, you have some people that are saying, oh, y'all are worried too much, they're not going to take your guns, nobody wants your guns, they just want semi-automatics. Well, I'm no professional, but let me explain to the best of my knowledge. A semi-automatic is almost every gun that exists. See, when they say semi-automatic, they're referring to the AR-15. Well, you know that bill that they were trying to pass about getting rid of the AR-15? What they did not tell you, and unless you read it, you wouldn't know this, but when you read the bill, it does say the AR-15, but it also says ban every semi-automatic. Well, pretty much the only thing that's not a semi-automatic is a revolver. Most guns are semi-automatic. So, I'm not going to go into all the details of different ones, but just know, read the bill that they tried to pass. You know, read some information on it, and you will find that almost every gun that exists is considered a semi-automatic. So when they say in their little bill, oh, we're just trying to get rid of AR-15s, and then they write down, we want to get rid of all automatic weapons, I want you to know that means almost every gun. So when you argue, they're not trying to get rid of all your guns, that is bullshit. They are. Semi-automatic basically means that you can shoot, you know, more than one with, you have to pull the trigger between, but still you can shoot more than one thing without having to reload or whatever, you know what I mean? So semi-automatic is nearly every gun. So just look into that, you know. Like I said, I'm no pro at that, but I do know that semi-automatic is almost every gun out there. So when they word that in that bill, which, check it out, I've looked at it, they're basically trying to get rid of nearly every gun. So yes, that is a concern for some people, because some people like their right to bear arms. And when I say right is something that the government is not supposed to have control over. A right means that that you naturally have that. It's like the right to open your mouth and speak. No one should be able to control that. The right to bear arms means that no one should be able to control that. And it doesn't say anywhere in our Second Amendment that you can only have this or only have that or blah, 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 blah. You know, it just says it's a right, and a right is not supposed to be controlled by the government. So you might want to check into that one as far as the weapons and what semi-automatic is and what that covers with all these weapons that we're talking about. And we don't hear stories on the news. We only hear the bad things, of course. We very seldom hear the good stories about how, you know, the good guy with the gun saved people, and, you know, or the good guy in his house got an intruder out and saved his family. We don't hear those things. What we do hear is the bad guy with the gun. Well, I have news for you. You can make more laws, you can change all this stuff all you want, but the fact is that if the bad guy doesn't follow the laws that exist, he's not going to follow the new laws, right? We already have laws that say you can't kill people. We already have laws that says you can't have a weapon unless it is registered, but they don't follow that. So what makes you think that if you create a new law that they're going to follow that? What about the laws? There are certain places you cannot carry a weapon, like at schools and things like that. That still doesn't stop the bad guy. So let's add some more laws. Yeah, that's it. I'm sure the bad guys will listen to that one, because they listen so well to the other ones. If they followed the first laws, we wouldn't have the problem that we do. The problem is not the guns, it's the people carrying the guns. It's the people that are not abiding by the law. I live in the South, and nearly everyone I know has guns. And none of them, have ever used their gun to do anything illegal. They shoot game. They use it to protect their home. They shoot targets and things, practice and all that. On occasion, you shoot a snake or a coyote or whatever's out there, that comes, in your yard and threatens your family or your livestock or whatever. But none of those people have ever done anything illegal with their weapon, because they're law-abiding citizens, and all law-abiding citizens are the same way. The problem is not the gun, it's the people that have the gun, that are choosing to make bad choices. It's all about choices and things that we do, not the person. And I know people of different backgrounds, different races, different nationalities, and all that have guns, and none of them are bad people. I have a friend that's my age that when we were kids, we've been friends for years. When we were kids, I'm talking 11, 12 years old, she lived in a really bad part of town, and she slept with a gun under her pillow. Yeah. And I spent the night at her house a couple of times, not very often, but you could sit in her house, and at night you could hear things that would scare you, but anyway, she slept with a gun under her pillow to protect herself, to protect her environment, in case something happened, so yes, it's important that we have our guns for safety, but also for the fact that, it's a right. It's not a law. So no one should have control over that. Just like no one should have control over what comes out of your mouth. So it bothers me that they're on this kick, where they want to control your guns, and they want, all that, and some people refer back to, and I will for a moment, but history, they say that history is doomed to repeat itself, and so those that don't know history are in trouble, because if you don't know what did happen, you don't know what's going to happen, you know what I mean? And you look at all the things that are going on now, and you will see that it has happened before, in different places, different times, of course, but things have happened, and you see the same kind of reoccurring happenings, and that should make you, if nothing else, just step back and think and say, okay, well, what can I do to protect myself if this occurs, You think of all the different situations in history, with Germany with the Jewish people, and Stalin, and all these different things. All of those things started out by the government taking control of the people's weapons. Once they had control of the people's weapons, they could also control the people's speech, and then they could control what the people watched on TV, and it goes on and on and on, and before you know it, they control everything, and then they're in a socialist, type country where the government literally controls everything. And it all started from them taking the people's weapons, telling the people, we will protect you. You don't need the weapons. We will protect you. We're doing it for the good of the people. So turn in your weapons. And people would turn them in. And then the people that didn't turn them in, they came after and they took the weapons. And then it went downhill from there. And so you're telling me that our government's saying, hey, it's for the good of all of you. Turn in your weapons. You don't need them. We're going to protect you. Yeah. And some people are listening to that. And that's scary. You do know the Second Amendment was written so that the people, if need be, could be a militia, which is a group of people that are standing together with their weapons to fight against tyranny. That means, like in the situation in Germany and all that, if those people would have all stood together with their weapons and refused, you know what I mean, and fought against the government tooth and nail, did not give up their weapons, things might have went differently. But the government tricked them into believing that it was for everyone's good to turn in their weapons, and they did it. And then they were badly mistreated and killed, and all sorts of terrible things happened to them because they trusted their government when the government said, we're going to help you, just give them to us, we're going to, and maybe, I don't know this for a fact, but they probably created scenarios to make people believe that it was for their own good. The best thing we can do is turn our weapons in because the government's going to look over us and protect us. And, and then we see these things on the news that happen. Like I said, we never see the good stuff, only the bad stuff. Horrible people with guns and blah, blah, blah. Well, the government's over here. You know what? We should get rid of the weapons. Then it's not going to happen anymore. We all know that's not true. Logically, it's not true. Because none of the bad guys that have weapons are going to give them up. They're not going to. If they were going to, they wouldn't be killing people. They wouldn't be breaking all the other laws. So just because you create another law that says turn in your weapons, they're not going to. What's going to happen is all the good people are going to turn their shit in, and all the bad people are still going to have them. So I just don't understand how people can't think of that logic and make sense of that. If someone doesn't follow the laws, such as don't kill, don't shoot, don't do this, don't do that, they're not going to follow the law, turn in your weapon. And they're not going to follow the law that you can only have this gun or that gun or whatever else. So anyway, my concern is that we've been fighting. If you haven't read 1984 by George Orwell, you should read it. It's very, very interesting. It's kind of a slow read, but the story is like, wow, like it's scary, wow, of what a world would look like if the government had all of this control over the computers, weapons, people's lives, jobs, tell you when you can do stuff and when you can't and how you have to behave, and they teach people to tattle on each other when stuff happens, which is things that are happening now. you have these people coming out and tattling on everyone for every little bitty thing, and it's scary. And you put all that stuff together and read that book, it's quite scary of what could happen. But anyway, this guy wrote the book, I think like in the 30s or 40s, but he was calling it 1984 as if that would happen in 1984. Of course, in 84 we didn't have all the technology and stuff we do now, but it's no secret that the government and things have been spying on us for years, so there's no telling how long they've been doing it. It's just now coming out in the last few years, more and more. But anyway, okay, my time's going to run out shortly, but tell me what you think. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions on it. And you all have a great day.